Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's another brisk day here in the good old US of A. My name is John Fairbanks, and on today's podcast, what we're going to want to talk to you guys about is kind of early on when we first got getting started with our first couple clients, and then with our own business, how we kept running into this issue of time, talent, and treasure. So here comes the intro, and we'll see you in a second.
Our clients are busy in the grind, doing what they do best, but they never have the time to come up for air and see what anyone else is doing. We get to interact with multiple successful businesses from all walks of life, having success doing what they do every day. How do these businesses do it? How did they start? What hurdles do they jump through on a daily basis to be successful? What is it that sets them apart from their competition? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as we learn, apply, and share the best strategies that the top small business owners, franchise owners, and their franchisees have used to grow their businesses. My name is John Fairbanks, and welcome to Franchisee Radio.
All right. So early on, the goal is that we were starting off our business, and everyone said, okay, you need to get a website. You need to get on social media. You need to get on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter, Periscope, Snapchat. You got to get on everything, right? I'll take out my socks and we'll be able to count on my toes. So you got to get on everything. And it became super obvious, super quickly, that that's not possible. There's not enough time in the universe to do all of those things. But also, like, when do you do those, and when do you start, and how do you go about doing them? And this wasn't an issue that we were the only ones dealing with, and that's where we were running into clients that had similar questions, where either they had a website, that website was created back in NOM, and you could only access it on Windows 97, and there was all sorts of issues, right? Like, they had their MySpace page, but they weren't fully ready to make the jump. Like, there were lots of issues kind of came up, and we weren't alone. And so when we were first starting off our business, kind of everyone was like, "Oh, you gotta get a WordPress page, get a WordPress website, and that's where you got to start." And so my wife and I got started, and so we're doing that. And I've worked in WordPress pages before, when I've worked for other companies, and being able to help them with their website. And one thing became abundantly clear, is that if we were ever going to be able to work on, like, our business or help our clients with things that they had hired us to do, we were never going to be able to have the time to do what needed to be done with WordPress, right? With the platform that everybody had kind of recommended us to. And so time was out, right? We didn't have time to work on that, because we had to be able to work on this other thing. This wasn't the only thing we were doing, right? So this was like the fourth or fifth thing that we were doing, and it was the brand new thing. So there really wasn't a whole lot of time to be able to dedicate to it anyway. So whenever we were doing it, it had to be really efficient at the time that we were going to be spending on doing it. And so then we're like, well, okay, so what's the answer then? If you don't have time to do it, then you can pay someone to do it. The only problem was that we didn't have any money to do that. So that was out as well. So time, talent, and then treasure, right, was third T. So we don't have the money, we don't have the time to do it, so we're going to have to get better at it. And so that's when we started realizing that maybe the issue wasn't necessarily us, but the issue was what we were using to try and achieve what we were trying to achieve. And so that's when we got introduced to another platform that allowed us to be able to easily build our website quickly, with kind of those easy snap and drags and click and drag things, and being able to put it all together. And it actually came with, like, training on how to do it, and the best part, it was free to be able to try it and check it out. And so that's where we started kind of doing, we were able to set that up quickly, And that allowed us to be able to then focus on the other things that we needed to focus on. And so the one thing that's been nice is, as we've been working with different franchisees that we work with, is they have websites, right? So they're going to have their website that's going to be built out, and so the next piece is going to be able to help kind of manage whatever those other sequences in kind of the business sequence, whatever it needed to be able to, what that was the next step, was being able to then, they had this piece figured out, so the next step was being able to like generate leads and be able to generate kind of those new customers that are coming through the door, and being able to harness the overall, harness the email marketing or email follow-up that would happen with those new clients that are coming in, or a potential lead that needs to be able to have that follow-up. So you kind of had all these different things that were coming into play. And so that was one thing that was nice, is that as we started to be able to put up our initial website that helped generate our leads, we were able to automate a lot of those processes. And so that's where the first bit is that if you run, so we all are going to be dealing with this issue of is either a time issue, a talent issue, or a money issue. And it's not like there's a whole bunch more money that's coming in that's with what you're doing now. So if the money is going to be the solution and you don't have it, then you're going to have to figure out a way to be able to generate more income to be able to justify what you want to be able to spend it on, obviously. But don't just assume that if something's not working, like we did, it was, we can't figure this out. We've burned so much time doing it the way that everyone else says we should do it this way. We need to do it this way, but we burned so much time trying to figure it out that it just didn't make any sense. And so if we didn't have to be tied to it, for other than the fact that someone said that we needed to be doing it, we don't have to be tied to it, then why the hell are we doing it? And so that's where we started to look around, and we started to see what were our options, what was available to us at the time. And the best part was what ended up working for us has ended up working beautifully for some of our clients that we run with, and that we work with. And so that's what's really, really awesome, is that an issue where it's like, well, we have to figure this out. Do you? Do you have to figure it out? Because if it's up to you, if you're like us and like everyone else that would be interested in listening to any of these podcasts, it would be, we're all wearing multiple hats, right? Our clients are people that are going to be running their business. They're doing they're doing email marketing. They're doing their social media. They're making the product. They're dealing with the customer. They're dealing with you're doing it all, right? You're just putting on all these different hats. You're doing all those pieces. So you just don't have the time to screw around with something that you don't have to be putting up with. And so that's where it's time to take a hard look at the things that you're using in your business right now, and are they working for you? Do you have to use them? And are they working for you? And can you become more efficient? It's the only way that we've been successful doing what we're doing for our own business. And then also what we've found are our clients are being successful, is that efficiency is the name of the game. Unless this is something you already are coming from kind of those past lives. We all have those past lives, right? Those past experiences that we're bringing with us to our current business venture, that allows us to kind of be a little bit unique and be able to do things that are different than our competition. Unless you have that in your wheelhouse, then are you willing to spend money on it? Are you willing to spend your time on it? Because if you don't already have the talent to do it, and that's where it's, take a hard look. Do you need to be learning something new? Do you need to have 6 different things that are all over the place that don't necessarily speak to each other, but you're kind of making it work? Take a hard look at those things. I know we did, and we were super grateful that we were able to start kind of finding something that was able to grow with us over time and allowed us to kind of link one thing to the next, and just allowed us to be able to focus on our business, allowed our other clients to be able to focus on their business, and just people that we're communicating with, people that are in our community. The reality is, what's awesome about the community of small business owners, local business owners, franchisees, when you're in that community, you all live together. We all live together. You're interacting with one another. And so it ends up being for the good of the community. And that's where we've seen a lot of awesome things happen, is when you have these large community events, whether their holidays, and sadly sometimes catastrophes happen. It's that's when communities kind of come together and be able to help support each other, and so that's what's been really nice to see with a lot of our franchisee, with our main franchisee clients, is that they are able to rally around the community, around schools, around functions, and be able to kind of lift the community up. That's the sole focus. And so that's been something that's really cool to see, because they have the time to do it. They have the time to focus on those things, opposed to worrying about, whether or not there is a plugin that's down on their website and they're having to pay someone to handle it, or it's up to them and then their website's down, or whether they are having to try and figure out how to be able to follow up for the next email marketing campaign, or whatever it is. Figure out how to be able to make yourself more efficient at the job that you're doing, so you can focus on the things that are making the difference, that do differentiate you from everybody else that's in the community, so that you can give back more. You have to make money in order to be able to do good. The reality is, the more money you have, the more good you can do in your community, and it's just that simple. So, awesome. If you're listening to this on our podcast, please subscribe to the podcast so you can be able to get alerted when we have new episodes that drop. If you're here on our YouTube channel, you can go ahead and click subscribe down below so you get alerted each time that we have a new episode that drops. The first couple episodes that we're doing are just going to be us kind of talking about kind of things that we're doing, and then about episode in the next few, we're going to start bringing out our interviews, where we're going to start interviewing different franchisees and different business owners, and kind of hearing about what has made them successful, hear those success stories, and then kind of learn those strategies, because that was the one thing that we've started to learn with the clients that we've been working with, is a strategy that's working in one niche and in one section of society is super applicable to the next. Everyone kind of wants to say, oh, that can't work for me. That can't work. We're different, or we do this in this space, or we do this over here, and they do over there, that's not going to work for us. I'm telling, it's not the case. And so that's what we're so excited to be able to have everybody be able to hear those episodes, hear these interviews that are going to be coming in, that essentially debunk that. The fact is that what works is what works. So we're excited to be able to show that. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Leave a comment below, all those usual things, and we'll see you on the next episode.